here, y'all. How you doing? I'm so glad to be here. You know what? It's a good day, isn't it? Yes, it is, Chesley. It's Sunday, and this is, I know what it is. It's the Lord's Day, and we're so glad to be here and get out of that trunk. I know you're glad to be out of that trunk. We're so glad to have you here today with us so we can do the story. And yes, and it's a good one, and you're the voice of need. That's right. And today is a holiday. Well, no, just today's not the holiday. It's Monday, but people can listen to this anytime that they want to. And also, it's going to be on YouTube and Rumble. That's right. Later on today, we'll put it on YouTube and Rumble. But right now, we're right here. Let's see if we can get this just to add just a little bit. Not as crooked. So anyway, all right, Chesley. And so I'm gonna sing. Oh yes, you got to sing. All right. This gospel train is chugging the train, chugging the train, it's chugging the train. This gospel train is chugging the train, chugging to the glory land. Gotta get on board this gospel train. Yes you can, yes you can. Get on board this gospel train. Yes you can, yes you can. That's right, Chesley. Anyone that wants to serve the Lord with all of their heart, love Him, and just love and serve Him, and just He has everything good for us that He's planned for us. And I tell you what, and you get to go to heaven. Get to go to heaven when we die, and it's going to be a good time to just be with the Lord forever. And all the others that love the Lord through all the ages, through all the ages of time. Yes, Chesley. I mean, it's just like nothing we've ever experienced. I tell you what, it's going to be good. I tell you what, the people there getting ready. People, yes, need to be getting ready. And, are you ready? Yes, Chesley. When I was 8 years old, I asked the Lord to come into my heart. And, it's you want to serve Him all the days of your life? That's exactly what I told Him. I want to serve Him all the days of my life. And that's what, Chesley, one of the things we do, I serve the Lord by you and I telling this Bible story. Today it's called Restoring God's House. Restoring God's house. And so what had happened? Is then something bad happened? Yes, Chesley, something bad had happened. Chesley, we had this young king came in, and he didn't know what he was doing. He made a mess of things. Oh, no, Chesley, that's not what it was. But anyway, what had happened, actually, his grandmother was a very evil person. That's all. I thought grandmothers were nice people. Well, many, many grandmothers, they sometimes go by, they call themselves Nana, or they may be Granny, but that's that person is all gets some things and they don't get in trouble. Well, Chesley, we won't go into all of that. But grandmothers and all grandparents, grandmothers and grandfathers are usually very, very good to their grandchildren. This is a different case. And she was evil. That's right. Her name was Athaliah. People pronounce it Athaliah. I always said Athaliah, but she was really wicked. In fact, she wanted to kill him. No, she's wicked. Why would she do that? Chesley, she was just so evil. She wanted to be the queen there, and so she thought, I'm going to run things now. Their son was dead. She said, I'm going to run everything now. I did tell you what, she doesn't sound like she's the one to do it. She wasn't the one to do it, but she just stepped up, and she actually she killed all of her grandchildren. No, not which one? Except Joash, and he was a baby. And so there you had in the temple. Did she go to church? No, she did not go to church. She didn't darken the door. But so that's why the priest was there. They took this little baby Joash and they protected him. And they hid him in the temple because she didn't come. That she never darkened the temple. That was the house of God. But they taught this little boy and trained. And so word got out to the right people that this little boy had survived. And he's going to get to be the king. And we don't know what he's doing. He's just 7. Chesley, he didn't know what he was doing. But yet, what they had, Jehoiada was a wonderful priest. And he took care of him. And he and his wife, Jehoshaphat, and they taught and trained. They taught, they trained. And so they wanted him to know that you are God's man. He needed to do the godly things. And so Jehoiada taught him. Jehoiada was the chief priest. And he taught, he trained. But I tell you what, Athaliah was so wicked, and anybody that had anything to do with her, what all did they do? Well, they even came into the house of God, God's house, and they stole things. Oh, that is so wicked. I think we need to call the FBI. Well, Chesley, they didn't have any of that. So here it was just a horrible thing. And as Jehoiada and his wife Jehoshaphat, they prayed, and they were really looking to the Lord to help them. And so they stole all these things, and that's just a wicked thing. And it was to throw that little guy that's here. Well, Chesley, some way, somehow they got in and out, stole these things, and they just wanted to do anything wicked that they could. Anything that was supposed to be holy and was holy, and it was dedicated to the use of the Lord, and they didn't. I tell you what, they're in trouble. I know they are in much trouble. But you know, when Joash got a little bit older, and Jehoiada had been teaching, he was the chief priest, had been teaching and training him. Well, Jehoiada got to, as Joash looked and he saw that the temple, God's house, was in horrible disrepair. No, it needs to be fixed because God's house needs to be this. You know, Chesley, if everybody's houses looks good, well, the house of God, no, it should be even better, I think. We want to take very good care of it. I think you need to keep it clean. That's right, keep it nice and clean. And so Joash said, he told the chief priest, Jehoiada, he said, what we need to do, he said, I want this all restored. I want it to look like it did. I want it restored. And he fix it up, make it nice. That's right. Bring in the carpenters. Bring in all like the painters or whatever, the people that come in and make all these repairs. These carpenters could come in and fix it, and all the metal work and all the things that, I mean, they had just kind of stripped it down till it was awful, and nobody was coming to the house of God. He said Jehoiada in his life, in the other priests and in the serving God, you know, there are always those people, we call them a remnant. It's just that few that they're being faithful to the Lord. And does God write it down? Yes, God writes it down. He knows who's being faithful. He knows who isn't. Does he know what we're saying? He knows what we're saying. He knows what they're saying. You know, Chesley, he knows everything. Well, it didn't happen. Joash noticed that there wasn't any work going on in the temple. And he said, I said, get busy. And so he called in Jehoiada, and he said, what's going on? He said, this is too slow. It's not happening. He said, I want the temple restored. I want it repaired. I want it to look beautiful again. And honor God and show him that you loved him. It was showing love and care, and that you really wasn't just saying it, but you did it. And so he told Jehoiada, you better get busy. And so Jehoiada told the other priests, we got to get going here. No, what are they going to do? How are they going to fix it? Well, what he said, we've got to have the money to do this. And so he had an idea that came from God. Get a chest here and drill a hole in it and let people drop their money in there. Oh, and there it happened. All the officers and all the people rejoiced and brought in their levies and dropped it into the chest until they had finished. That is from 2 Chronicles 24 and verse 10. They brought in and said their levies. They brought in their money. They dropped it all in. And so Chesley, what they would do, what they did, when they got a big dungeon in there, and they'd use it. That's what they would do. They'd keep putting in after a good while, and they thought there's plenty of money in here. Let's see how much we've got. And so there was faithful men of God would open it up, because they didn't cheat and steal. No, that's right. They did not cheat and steal. That was one thing that the Bible noted. They were honorable men. And so they opened it up and they said, all right, we can do this now. And they would work. Did they just stop? No, Chesley. They kept giving. But here went the carpenters and all the people there, all the repairmen. They were getting to work in the house of God. It began to look great. And that's what God wants. Oh, he wants it looking nice and clean and just the best we can, the very best we can. Well, they kept doing that. The people would bring their monies, and the Bible said, and they were happy to do it. Well, finally, and then they get it finished. Well, they would open that chest again. They would get out some more money, and it went on and on. They did that until finally they said, well, we have finished, and we've got the work all done. Oh, now it's time to celebrate. And they were so thankful for what the Lord had done. Yes, Chesley, they had done the right thing. Just think, it was a simple thing. But you know what? They all worked together. It was not just the priest. It was the priest and all of the people. They all worked together in doing that. They restored God's house. And the blessing of the Lord was on those people as they honored the Lord. You know, Chesley, I was thinking about at our church, we had recently, we did some restoration. We did some things that just got it all fixed up. You know, and now it looks fancy, and I hadn't seen it. Let me go see it. Chesley, yes, Chesley, you were there recently. You know, I guess I wasn't paying attention. I need to go again. Chesley, that will be at a later time. I know, because they're the pastor, he loves me. I know the pastor loves you. I know that, and you'll be back. But Chesley, we're thinking of this when we see something that needs to be done. And in this case, this was a man. He was the king. He had he had the authority to make it happen. And so everybody could do it. Everybody could participate. It didn't matter whether you had a little bit of money or a lot of money. Everybody contributed to it. And when it was all said and done, then they all come down and they had a great service. I believe they had a great service, probably some kind of a dedication. And they honored the Lord, and God saw the people. That said all the officers and the people rejoiced and brought in their money, and they dropped them into the chest until they had finished. They didn't stop. I like this, Chesley. They didn't go part way and say, it's too hard and I'm going to quit. That's right. They didn't do that. It's too hard and I don't quit. I don't want to. I'm going to quit. I don't want to do it. Nobody was saying that. I want to quit. And others said, we're not quitting. I just think it was all of them together. I think they worked like a team. They did. They worked like a team. And God was so pleased, and the joy of the Lord filled their hearts. There's nothing like it when you do the right thing, Chesley. The Lord blesses and guides and directs. I tell you what, the Bible tells us here, in fact, that the sons of wicked Athaliah had broken into the house of God and even used the holy things of the house of the Lord for the Baals, or for the evil ones, for the idols. And God was not pleased. God was not pleased, but he was pleased when he saw these people work together and get the church of God, the house of God was restored to what the beauty that it should have, and how that all they began to bring in all the good things. They made it back beautiful again. Put all those things. Look down those guys just told them, can you go get it? Well, Chesley, there could be new ones that were made, and there was those people that were gifted and talented to do that. It took everybody working together, restoring God's house. And you know, Chesley, we have this house that we call our heart house. We can worship the Lord, and sometimes we can find it, I know, like if you tell lies and things like that, it's in this right here. Oh, Chesley, that's right. So if there's somebody out there listening and they realize they've done wrong, their heart house. They may have a beautiful house they live in, and they take good care of it, not their heart house. And that's right, Chesley. Sometimes people don't take care of their heart house. And everyone have to remember, we have the heart house, where that part of it, where Jesus lives, and we don't ever want to do wrong things and let it go by. But instead, we ask God to forgive. We ask the Lord to help us and to forgive us, and we want to do the right thing. What if you've stolen something? If you've stolen something, you need to make that wrong right. Chelsea, that's the only way. You can't just say, Lord, forgive me. You have to return what you have stolen. What if you tore it up? Well, Chelsea, you're going to have to go, and you're going to have to make it right in some way. Maybe if you have to pay for it. Chelsea, whatever we've done, do you like told lies? That's right. If we've told lies, things that we have done wrong, Chelsea, that's what we need to make them right. That's getting everything repaired in our heart house. We don't want to try to keep things in our heart house that's evil. No, we can't honor the Lord with that. And we want to serve him with all of our heart. That's what we want to do, Chesley. Serve the Lord with all of our heart, all the days of our life. Because one day you get to live with him. That's right. If we've been faithful to the end, we've loved him and served him. We're going to down some people, they start. Oh, we don't want to be one of those stoppers. We want to be one of those that just keeps right on. And what were you doing? I think you were winking. Well, there's some girls out there, don't you know? Oh, I know, Chesley. But here we are at this good part of our lesson. I know what's going on. What are you thinking about? I think you're thinking about sticking in a trunk. Wow, so you're stalling. Okay, but Chesley, we have told because we have a house here, the house of God, where we go and we worship on Sundays and Wednesdays, and maybe during revivals and things like that. But Chesley, we have this house. What we tell it's not a physical house like living in our heart, but we think of how that part of us that loves the Lord and serves him, that's where the Lord lives, and it's our heart house. That is our heart house. We want to always have it looking good. And being in the district here, get it restored. Get it restored, and we want it shining bright, and we want it's almost like if we could just put a sign, our big smile, and doing the right thing says, I love the Lord. It says that, I love the Lord. And right now, I love to tell you that we have finished, and it's time now for you to go to bed. Woo! I'm not even sleepy. But Chesley, whether you are or not, it's time for you to go to bed. And why? Chesley, because that's what always happens. And you know, this evening, sometime late, you know, my husband and I, you know, we'll go to bed. Everybody needs to get rest. Do you sleep in the trunk? No, we don't sleep in a trunk, but you do. So tell everybody goodbye. I gotta say goodbye. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stay up and sing a song, Chesley. No, I think you're doing a stall job like you always do. But right now, we are going to let you go to bed. No, I gotta go to bed. No, love you, and I'll see you next week. I wish I didn't have to go to bed, but I am, and I'm not gonna gripe. You're not gonna gripe? Well, that's good. I think that's a good thing. So we'll see you next Sunday afternoon, the Lord willing. Goodbye. Love you bunches.